Hello everybody, I'm Jose Betancourt, and as always, thank you for viewing my videos. So I want to continue talking about the Fuji GFX 50R. I made a video giving my initial impressions. Now at that time I only had the camera for about 3 days, and it was extremely hot. In New York City there has been a big heat wave, and at this moment I don't have my air conditioning on. So when I made that particular video, I didn't have any air conditioning. I had trouble setting up my lighting. I have a very small area where I do my YouTube videos. So today I decided to have photo streaming as I'm talking. This way I don't have to deal with lighting, setting up a camera, setting up audio and everything like that. So I just have my podcast set up. This is what you're listening to now. If I did not sound as enthusiastic as I felt at the time, it was because I was boiling hot. I was sweating like a pig. And so I apologize for a lackluster video. It has been a while. So I don't want to bore you anymore with any excuses. The 50R from Fuji. Some people call it a medium format camera. I've heard other people call it a super full frame because it's somewhere in between. But from using it for about 3 weeks, I can tell you that it is the best camera I've ever used, performance-wise, and where it really matters, the image quality is something I've never seen. Now, I'm just reiterating what I already said and what you've probably heard from many people who own a GFX system. I cannot imagine what a GFX 100 looks like. It must be, wow, unbelievable. Anyway, I am not accustomed to seeing this type of visual fidelity, the dynamic range, all that you can do with Lightroom or whatever editing software you use. Sometimes when I'm editing, I don't even have to do much. I just make some crops here and there, maybe adjust the lighting a bit, but the colors are so rich, and I'm talking about the raw files. I find myself shooting raw, and now I can do raw and superfine. Sometimes I will use one of the JPEGs, but overall, what you get when you're editing one of these Fuji GFX files is incredible. There is so much to it, and everyone talks about that medium format look. There is definitely something different when you're dealing with this type of megapixels. The sensor is huge. I mean, when I compare it to my Fuji X-H1, it's crazy how big the sensor on a GFX system really is. And when you look at this GFX, whether it's the 50S or the 50R or the 100, you are now playing in the big leagues. And it might be too much camera for you. I initially thought, when I started taking photos with it, I thought I was jumping into something that I just did not qualify for. But as I got accustomed to what I can do with this type of sensor, you're not going to run and gun, number one. I was purposely trying to use it as it's X-H1. I was trying to shoot from the hip. I was trying to do typical street photography. I did some toy photography. You're going to see all this while I'm talking. And I've been trying to use it to see if I can substitute my X-H1. Now, the X-H1 is a fantastic camera. And by the way, on a side note, if you're looking to get an X-H1, now's the time to do it. It is dirt cheap at under $1,000. So check it out. So back to the GFX 50R. I have the 45mm f2.8. That's about close to 35 millimeters in a 35mm format. And so it's close to what you see visually from your perspective. And I've been able to take some really, really fantastic, to me personally, some fantastic landscapes, architecture shots, street photography, toy photography, some portraits. I really have not gone out and done portraits in a typical fashion, but the lens that I have, the 45mm f2.8 is really flexible and capable of doing so many things. And that is why I chose that particular lens with the 50R. The other thing I learned is that you really need proper lighting. Do not expect to get away with using high ISO with a 50S or 50R. Or any, well, I don't know about the 100. And the reason why I say the 50S and 50R is because it's same sensor and everything, megapixels in a different body and shape. You need proper lighting. So I took mine out on a few occasions at night just to see how it would handle low light situations, how the lens would handle autofocusing in low light situations, and overall it was pretty good. It wasn't the best. It's not my Fuji X-H1. It's not the, let's say, 23F2 that is lightning fast. But I purposely tried these out in certain situations to see what I can get away with. The Fuji GFX-R, even though it's still the size of a brick basically, it's pretty big, it's pretty cumbersome, it's still a joy to carry around. I find myself wanting, this might be because it's still the honeymoon phase, but when I'm at work, I find myself wanting to use it. And unfortunately I can't because I fix elevators. I just want to use this camera all the time. Now, I'm not saying that the Fuji GFX 50R has inspired me to take more photos. I've been doing this for about a year. For about a year. I've been going out. Every day I go to work, I take a camera with me, whether it's an X Pro 1, XE2, or my XH1. I go out, carry it around in my camera bag, and if I see something or if I'm in the mood to take photos, I do it. I have taken my Fuji GFX 50R with me to work, and walking around New York City, you don't get away with it. People notice it. When I do quote-unquote typical street photography, I have to stop, compose, and then act as if I'm going to shoot something else, and then last minute, if there's someone interesting, I turn around and I put them into the composition. I include them in the photo. Sometimes with the autofocus, it's kind of slow, so I will hit and I'll miss. It just depends. There are times I use manual focusing with focus peaking. So I have an adapter for my Nikkor 105mm f2.8. It's a vintage lens. I'm going to use that for portraits. So basically, I've been trying to use the Fuji GFX-R as my main camera, as my only camera. I've been trying to see if I can get away with that. It's been pretty tough. I'm not going to lie. It's been pretty tough. So right now, it's my co-captain next to my Fuji XH1. And it's pretty good. I don't know if it's me. I definitely got to learn it more. I'm having trouble with my flashes. I'm using Godox 360, and there are times it works perfectly, but I can't choose the zoom on the flash, and after a certain amount of flashes, it just stops working. It's as if the camera just loses communication with the flash, and it's pretty annoying. So I've been practicing just so when I actually have a gig coming up this Saturday. So I've been practicing. I've been trying to figure out if I can use the GFX 50R in all of my gigs. And right now it's not there. So I'm taking my Fuji XH1 and the 50R, of course, so I can split between the two. Hopefully I have great lighting since it's going to be outdoors and I can use one camera. But then again, the 90mm f2 is just heavenly to use for portraits. But I'm going to end this. Hopefully you enjoy the photos that I've put, that I include in the video. I'm showing you different types of genres, different types of situations, just so you can get an idea of how I use the 50R, the Fuji GFX 50R. Once again, it's amazing. $3,999 is nothing to sneeze at. It's expensive. But considering what you're getting, considering that it's borderline medium format, and the visual, the quality of your photos, there's nothing like it. Let me correct that. You're going to get more megapixels. The Mamiya system, the Hasselblad, they're more expensive. They have 80 megapixels out there in medium format. So you're going to see more fidelity, but for $4,000 and what you're getting at that price is incredible. And Fuji has a winning formula right now. The GFX system could take off and eventually become the norm. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. I thank you for watching my videos as always. I'll be talking to you soon. Take care.